The Leaders Coach podcast is about connecting leaders to an identity that will help transform their leadership by engaging in conversations that lead to opportunities for growth, authenticity, and vulnerability. As we're unlocked, we simultaneously empower others to live and lead unique and authentic lives. Let's go deeper. Welcome to the Leaders Coach podcast with Dr. Shanita Brown. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Leaders Coach with Dr. Shanita Brown. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. I hope you're having a fantastic day, for this is a glorious day. I'm excited about it. And not only am I excited about it, I'm excited about your future and all that you are and will become. We have come to the end of the road with the Leaders Coach with Dr. Shanita Brown for season 2. Season 2 has been so incredible. Let me start off by saying thank you so much to our guests, those who listen. This season we were talking about transformation, and with transformation we were just talking about how that looks. We started with episode 1, the power of a transformed mind. Then we talked about who you are as a leader, and my favorite one, how growth requires sacrifice. And then we started getting with some guests, and we started talking about the different initiatives and the different things that these guests, how they are transforming their worlds, their organizations, and how transformation has started within them. And so you guys can always go back and check out season 2. If you have not checked out season 1, I want to encourage you to go back and check out season 1. Season 1 was fire. We had amazing guests as well in an amazing episode. And so I need your help. What are you thinking? What are some thoughts for season 3? I'm really considering to make a part 2 of transformation, because I think transformation is such a broad topic that we could continue on and on and on. And so I'm going to be praying about it and meditating about it. What will be next? What will be good for our season 3 when we come back? I want to give a special shout out to all of our guests. Miss Angie Richardson Woods, Mr. Derek Robertson, Mr. Justin Thomas, the Reverend Antoine D. James. I want to give a shout out to all those people that took the time out to be on the Leaders Coach. And for you who are listening, who were brought to our podcast by one of these guests, thank you so much. And if you want to learn more about the Leaders Coach podcast, you can go to the leaderscoachpodcast.com. Or you can always check out our episodes. You guys can always go to our Instagram at the Leaders Coach Pod. That is the Leaders Coach Pod. And you can always follow me on my personal Instagram. And that's Dr. Shanita_Brown. Dr. Shanita_Brown. So many great things are happening, and I want you to be a part of it. I want you to be a part of what is going on in in the role of leaders, what's going on. As you guys know, those who've been my listeners and those who are new, I am a leader's leader. I love leadership. I love it, love it, love it. And I want to make sure that we are doing our very best to bring you valuable insights and content, those things that will help you grow, those things that will help you develop and become who you're supposed to be. I had to get that out. You guys have to forgive me. The past 2.5, 3 weeks, my voice been going in and out. I've just been using my voice. And so I guess it's a good thing you're using your voice, but at the same time, just allowing it to rest. And so I want you guys to forgive me ahead of time as I am getting through this. But we're going to go ahead and pop into how we do this. Now, I know, yes, I do. I know there has been the past few episodes over this second season that I've been asking you guys, hey, what can I call you? What will be our name for one another? Again, I said that Beyonce has the Beehive, Tamar Braxton have the Tamartians, and so forth. And so I was really thinking, I was really meditating. I was really trying to think about what a leader is. And this came to my mind. And so I want to know your thoughts, because this is what I'm going to start calling you all. You guys are my pathfinders. You are pathfinders. And so what is a pathfinder? A pathfinder is a person who goes ahead and discovers or shows others a path or a way. It's pretty much you go ahead of this group, you're traveling to an unknown area, and you're making something possible for others to do the same. And so in a nutshell, it's like a trailblazer. It's just one of these people that goes and discovers and shows the way. So you guys are going to be my Pathfinders. So starting in season 3, you're going to be hearing me say a lot about Pathfinders. Pathfinders is going to be so unique to our audience and who it is that we are as we're trying to build here on the Leaders Coach, because again, the Leaders Coach, we are about connecting leaders to an identity that will help transform their leadership by engaging in conversations that will lead to opportunities for growth, authenticity, and vulnerability. And I really hope that we are doing that for you guys. So if we are doing that for you guys, we want to hear from you. Yes, we do. We want to hear from our Pathfinders. You guys can always email us at leaderscoach@ShanitaBrown.com. That's leaderscoach@ShanitaBrown.com. You can always hit us up on our website. Right there at the bottom right, there is a chat button. You can click there and you can chat with us. Let us know how we are making sure that we are aligning with the vision of what the Leaders Coach podcast is about. So my Pathfinders, welcome. And we'll be talking more about that as we are getting closer to season 3. Season 3 will begin at the beginning of 2026. Greater things, bigger things, and I'm going to have some news that I'm kind of working on behind the scenes. And so hopefully things are panning out the way that I anticipate for them to. And if so, you guys will know because you are my Pathfinders. And so let's go ahead and jump into this question of the day. The question of the day is, if you could choose your age forever, what age would you choose and why? Great question. And it's funny that this question pops up because I'm not going to lie, when I was like maybe high school or maybe even middle school, I thought that my age now is 37. And I thought 30s, you were old, you were ancient. I did have that mindset. And when I was a child, I thought as a child, right? And I had that mindset. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, no, you're not old. Like, you feel good. And so I battle. I don't want to say I battle, but my kids sometimes, my students, they call me ancient sometimes. They say, you're ancient. And I said, I'm ancient. No, I'm not. I would never, ever, ever want to be a teenager again. And they always ask me, well, what age would you be? And honestly, I probably would start like right at that 35 mark. I think I would start at that 35 mark because I think that's an important age. It's an important coming into yourself. At least it was for me. So I would start at that 35 mark. So 35 for me was just a pivotal time in my life. And I think it was pivotal for me because I just growing more into courage and boldness. And I think throughout my life, I've always had a level of courage and boldness, but just really becoming more of who I know that I am and walking more into my purpose. I believe that just changed a little bit about how I saw things. And then the way I thought, my mentality even started to change. And so, so if I could choose an age forever, I think it would be 35. I think that's a time where you have your own values, your own belief systems apart from your family. And then you are, you're just at a settled age. You may have your career going, you may have a family, you just at a really subtle age. And so I know people say the new 40s like the new 20s. And so I'm looking forward to 40 as it relates to age. I'm not rushing it because it's not that far away. But however, it is what it is. All right, so we're going to go ahead and transition into our next segment, which is what inspired you. So in this case, what inspired me. And I'm gonna make this real quick. I know my what inspired you has gotten real long, and that's something I gotta work on, but I can't help but to talk about it because I was watching Kirk Franklin, and one of his interviews, he was encouraging another man, and he was saying that when you bring your vulnerable self, how that brings a new spirit to the place, a level of breakthrough, not just for you but for others. And so with that being said, what inspired me today is just seeing how I started a club on my campus, which is called Lead Her. And Lead Her is just pretty much about teaching young ladies how to lead themselves well, how to lead themselves first, and how to lead themselves in self-worth, self-esteem, self-value, growth, and all these different things that we do as it relates to lead her, understanding your truth and your authenticity and being empowered in those things. And so as we are growing in that, this past Wednesday, last Wednesday, we had a topic, and so we're doing shades of color, and I'm not going to get into all of it now, but so we were talking about unity last week. We're talking about unity, and what inspired me about that is that we got to a place of breakthrough. Of course, it's through a school setting, so it's not like you're preaching and speaking in tongues and stuff like that, but a level of breakthrough. And this is not the first time it's happened, but this is the first time it has happened as I've allowed my senior leaders to lead, right? And a level of breakthrough came. A lot of these girls became so vulnerable, speaking their truth, their honesty, and it was such a safe setting and a safe place for them. And you could just hear like healing taking place in the room, right? And so that was one of the things that inspired me, because these are now lessons that my young ladies are teaching, that they are leading. And so as they are leading the charges, they are leading these lessons, not only are they just doing it just to be, just to be saying it or just to be teaching it, but they're also allowing these lessons to take resident in them and to plant a seed in their hearts and in their minds, where they can cultivate and where they can continue to be greater young ladies that will turn into great women leaders one day. And so that inspired me just to see that, and to see that sometimes, because you think that what you do is in vain, you think that the work that you've done is in vain, but it's not in vain. I don't know who I'm talking to today. I may be just talking to myself, but the work that you do is not in vain, because some of you guys may have heard my story, because I never wanted to work at a high school. I was like, heck no, I got a doctorate. Why am I working at a high school? Blah, blah, blah. All these different things like that. But you see the fruit of your labor when you plant those seeds. It's going to have a harvest. I was talking to someone this weekend, and we were just having just a random, I wouldn't say a random, but just a discussion. We're just talking, and the conversation came up to where, a lot of people plant the seeds, but then they walk away from the seed. They don't spend time with it. They don't cultivate. They don't water it. They don't come check on it. They just plant the seed and leave. And as me and this other person was engaging, we were talking about how when you plant this seed, I want a harvest. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure it's cultivated. I'm going to make sure it's taken care of. I'm going to clean up the weeds from around it. I'm going to make sure no animals are coming to try to grab the seed as it is growing. I'm going to make sure that I see a harvest for my seed. And so I say that to say this, Pathfinders, that when you are planting a seed in the ground, or whether you're planting a seed in the soil, you're planting seed in somebody's life, however the seed planting for you look, I want to encourage you by saying, stay, cultivate. And sometimes you get tired, you don't want to, I don't know a whole lot about farming or agriculture, but if I were to plant a seed to try to grow tomatoes or something, I cannot just leave it unattended and expect the seed to do what it's going to do. No, I need to check on it, right? I need to grow it. I need to make sure it is growing properly. If I need to change it, if I need to flip it, if I need to cut something off from it, if I need to make sure predators are not coming in, because I want to see a harvest from the seed that I've planted. And so that has inspired me, that I'm able to see the harvest of the seeds that I have planted, and that gives me the courage, it gives me the strength, it gives me the ammunition to continue to keep running this race, with not only with resilience, not only with endurance, but with joy. Because we can run with endurance and resilience, right? We can run with those things, and I'm tired of running with resilience and endurance and strength. But while I'm running with those things, it's giving me joy. And so I'm excited about that. And so that's something that inspired me. So I want to hear your story. Even though this is our last episode for season 2, you guys can still connect with us. I really want to hear what has inspired you, because I want to share your story. I want you to be a part of what it is that we're doing. And you guys can do that by going to the leaderscoachpodcast.com. Right there in the center, you'll see share your thoughts, and it says leave us a question. And you may even hear your answer on the show. You click where it says click here to leave a voice message, and you will hear your question. We want to hear from you, because the only way will continue to grow is through community. It's through community. And that is what I want to do right now. It's through community. All right, so take us to our next segment with what's going on. What's going on? You know what? I'm going to stop putting that sound bite there. I'm going to sing it myself. I just feel like, I had a friend because like I told you at the beginning of the show, my voice been going in and out. And one of my friends, she's a singer, like she can sing. And I was talking to her this week and she said, your voice is hoarse. I'm not saying like you can sing. Them be the singers, the ones that voices are hoarse. They the ones that be the singers. And so I was like, girl, don't get me started. I'll sing a song. And so anyhow, I thought about that with the what's going on with the Morris app. But what's going on is in the world of leadership. It's a lot going on in the world of leadership. But I'm going to go back to what I was talking about earlier this show, right? What's going on is we need pathfinders, hands down. We need people to go ahead and people that go ahead and discover and show the way for other people. And I'm not just talking about from the perspective of wealth or from the perspective of starting businesses. Because you guys know me, I focus on leaders who lead themselves. So how can I be a pathfinder in showing other people how to lead themselves well in the way that they feel, choose, and think? Our emotions are our emotions. There were emotions, that root word of emotions is emo. It moves, right? So as our emotions are moving and we are connected to this world system, we are connected to things that are around us, we're going to have these emotions. But at the same time, how do I lead myself well in what it is that I'm feeling, right? Because that's important, because our emotions oftentimes are connected to our behaviors and our actions. And so how well am I allowing my emotions to lead my behaviors, right? And then how am I choosing? Like, what am my decision making? How is my decision making? Because that's going to be important as leaders, because as pathfinders, it's important that people can trust what you feel, how you choose, and then what you think, because it's our thoughts, it's our beliefs that affects our emotions. And I don't have time to go into all that right now during this show, but maybe in season 3 we'll start talking about that belief systems that we carry as leaders, because we're still human and we still in our humanity. But what I want to teach us is, because again, you guys know that this is a Christian-based show. We don't always talk about God. But however, it's rooted in Christianity and that spirituality. And that spirituality makes us divine and human. Divinity meaning, because those who are believers of Jesus Christ, you have Holy Spirit in you, right? And with the Holy Spirit that's guiding you, it connects with your humanity. And so I'm already teaching. I feel like teaching today. I tell my students that when it gets real good to me, I feel like teaching, but this is not the platform for it. So let me move forward. But it's okay. But so pathfinders, how are we leading ourselves in those ways? Because it's easy to put a policy together. It's easy to put laws together, these tangible things. But when it comes to leadership, as I tell my clients that I coach all the time, that leadership is transcended, meaning that it goes beyond the limits or the range that we see. It is something abstract. And so it's because we are spirit beings. And so it's something that connects us to another person. And so that's what I mean about being a pathfinder. That's what I mean about being transcended, right? Because it's beyond our physical limits. It's beyond our senses. It's something that's supernatural. And I honestly believe that is an important factor of what needs to be happening in leadership, right? What needs to be happening in leadership? Not only should transformation be happening, because transformation should be coming from a place of you being transcended, of you being authentic, of you being spiritual. When I say spiritual is that which transcends, or that which exceeds our physical senses, the way we taste, feel, see, hear, or touch. It's beyond that. It's when you get that phone call, hey, I was really thinking about you. Don't know what's going on, but you're in my thoughts and my prayers. That's spiritual, right? Because it's beyond what we can see. And so when I'm talking about Pathfinders, when I'm talking about what's going on, what needs to be going on in leadership, we have to start developing a sense of discernment, because I feel like that's the path leadership is going. Like it's going to have to be discernment. Yes, as an organization, do you need to make sure you have X, Y, and Z? Do you need to make sure you're meeting these goals? Do you need to make sure you're checking off these marks? Do you need to make sure that there's enough income and enough sustainable things that's happening to sustain your business and to maintain what it is that you're doing? 112%. Yes, I agree. But more than ever, it still takes a level of discernment. It still takes a level of being transcended. It still takes a level of believing a truth and not a lie. It still takes a level of being sensitive to certain things, being sensitive to different moves, different shifts. So therefore, as you are leading yourself, you're leading organizations, and organizations are made up of these people, and you're leading these people, and they're seeing like, man, my leader, my manager, the person that leads me, they are leading themselves well, and I'm seeing how they move. I'm seeing how they're shifting. I'm seeing how they are being discerning about what it is to do next. And that is what you model, right? And that is what you model. So what's going on in world leadership? We need Pathfinders. We just need Pathfinders. That's why you guys are my Pathfinders, the audience, the people that listen, the people that share the clips, the people that repost when I post things about the Leaders Coach. You are our Pathfinders, and that's what we need. Because what if the hardest part of growth isn't learning something new? What if it's unlearning what you thought was true? What if the hardest part of growth isn't learning something new, but it's unlearning what you thought was true? Because oftentimes we cling to these limiting beliefs because they make us feel safe and predictable. So I'd rather hold on to a stronghold or an opposition or an obstacle, which is a limited belief, because it makes me feel safe. At least I know what I'm going to get from thinking this way. At least I know what I'm going to get from holding on to this. And it makes me feel safe and it makes me feel predictable. But Pathfinders, as I mentioned before, they show others a path or a way. They go ahead and they discover something and make it possible for others to do the same. So my Pathfinders, as you are leading in this season, as you are thriving, as you are going, as you are growing, it's going to be important that you begin to unlearn what you thought was true. Because again, the hardest part about being a Pathfinder isn't necessarily finding the best way, but it is about showing others a path or a way forward. And that is our jobs as leaders. That is our jobs as Pathfinders, to find a path and a way forward. So as we get ready to wrap up season 2 of the Leaders Coach, I want you to leave with this. To what limited belief have I clung on to because it has made me feel safe and predictable? And that's going to be important as we're finding a path forward, because if I already have clinged to limited beliefs and thoughts and processes, and I'm trying to move forward, I can't make a path forward or be a Pathfinder because I have these things pulling me back or holding me or making me become stagnant. So as we are transitioning from season 2 to season 3 here in the next few months, we want to think about that. We want to think about what is clinging to me. What are some limited beliefs, because it makes me feel safe and it makes me predictable, and I'm able to predict this safe thing that I'm feeling. Because I go back to the question, what if the hardest part of growth isn't learning something new? It's unlearning what you thought was true. And as I tell my clients that I coach all the time, I believe the answers are already inside of us. And the job of people, and let me speak from a coach's perspective, since I am a leadership and a transformational coach. Talking from that perspective, I tell my clients that I partner with them to help them find the answers and discover the answers that's already in them. And that's what it means to be a part of being a pathfinder, helping people find the answers that are already in them. As you are going before and discovering and showing others a path forward, telling them, hey, this is a way to travel the unknown, you're helping unlock something on the inside of them to help them be able to fashion a world that will help them grow, that will help them connect with others, that will help them do whatever it is that they need. But you first must have to find a way forward. And as a pathfinder, you have to lead yourself well. That doesn't mean perfection. None of us are perfect, because even when you make a mistake, even when you go off on somebody, even when you make a bad choice or do something that's not a leadership quality, what do pathfinders, what do leaders do? Hey, you know what? I made a mistake, and I apologize for that. Or you make your wrong path right. That's a part of being a pathfinder, because if I'm going down the wrong path and it's the wrong path, I need to make that path right. Because again, I'm showing others a path or a way forward that will help them travel through the unknown. And sometimes that unknown is our internal world. That unknown is those limited beliefs. That unknown are those traumas. That unknown is that unlearning. And so as I end this show, I want to thank you all. We're only able to do this because of you. Because of you sharing, because of you being a part of the show, because of you listening, because of you engaging with the content and what it is that we're doing. And I'm telling you, 2026, we're going to do even greater and better things. And I don't want to say it right now because that's my limited belief that I got to work through, right? We all have them. We all, that's why I tell my students all the time, we all have these things because we're human. But the whole thing is to be aware. And as I am aware, right, I'm having to constantly connect myself to an identity that's going to help me transform how I engage with not just conversations with other people, but how do I engage with myself? Because I want these opportunities to lead me to areas of growth, authenticity, and vulnerability, which is what the Leaders Coach is about. And so until season 3, engage in this, share the Leaders Coach, the podcast. If you're loving what you're hearing, if you're loving what's going on, share it. And again, we want to hear from you. What would you like to hear from season 3? What would you like to hear from season 3? Again, I am considering doing a part 2 of transformation. But if it's something that you see what's going on, you say, hey, Dr. Brown, I want to hear something. I want to hear this. Let us know. And if you yourself would like to be a guest on the Leaders Coach podcast, on the leaderscoachpodcast.com, our website, go to Be Our Guest. And right there, you click Be Our Guest and you fill out the information. And as you fill out the information, someone will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours, because we want you to be a part of what it is that we're doing. Until season 3, y'all be blessed. Stay connected with the Leaders Coach Pod on Instagram, and also my personal Instagram at Dr. Shanita_Brown, to see what else is going on with the Leaders Coach and what else is going on with my company, Shanita Brown Empowers, and my nonprofit, Generation Elevate, because God is really doing some amazing things. And you may say, hey, Dr. Brown, look, I need a coach. Cool. I'm glad you said you need a coach. You go, guys, just go to ShanitaBrown.com, and right there in the middle, it says, I want a coach. And I would love to be your coach. And we're going to go ahead and make this thing happen. But until next time, be blessed. Stay up until season 3. I will speak to you guys soon. I'm looking forward to sharing great and exciting news with each and every one of you. Be blessed. This has been the Leaders Coach Podcast with Dr. Shanita Brown.